society is how it treats its women and girls. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
We create
The smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
we can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
No man is big enough for
Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
Won't stand still.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-host, Maria, joining us by Zoom. How are you, Maria?
Hey, Liz.
Woo, that's loud. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Miss Donna is up in Washington protesting at the hearings in Congress, and she's already posted lots of video snips about her trip on Facebook, and hopefully when she comes back next week, she'll have lots of inside stories for us. So I have wrangled our producer. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Allie.
Allie is our young intern producer, so she's going to interject as she sees fit. I told her she kind of panicked when she walked in, and I'm like, ooh, get mic'd up, we going. So anyway, lots and lots and lots of things to talk about today. Since we last met, the new pope was elected. It's like we spur these things on because we were just talking last week about, new popes and stuff. So, new pope has been elected, and the MAGAs are not happy because he has been critical in the past of J.D. Vance. I think Donna's joining us by Zoom, too.
I have joined you by Zoom for a few minutes.
Yay!
I'm in the hotel lobby waiting on my Uber, and I just wanted to tell everybody that is sitting at home, wishing, wondering, twiddling their thumbs. There are a lot of people up here in the Capitol, and they are raising hell.
Good.
And if you guys,
somebody needs to, because the representatives sure aren't going to do it.
yes, and I've been in and out of hearings, Warren, Booker, Klobuchar, the usual suspects, along with RFK, Chuck Schumer. We were in the hearings yesterday listening to them talk about Warren did a spotlight hearing on proposed cuts to education, the loss of DEI. Then we went into a Medicaid hearing, and we listened to RFK, oh, he wishes, RFK talk about his chicanery that he has proposed for Americans. And I don't know if I posted that one video of the woman being taken out, but I kind of walked right into it, right? And I asked the lady, is the hearing closed? And she said yes, and then everyone started running, and I almost got run over.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like for anybody who's not paying attention, representatives are going to do nothing. If we're going to save ourselves, we have to be our own heroes. So thank you, Donna, for going and doing the work on the ground. And so what hearing are you off to today? Maybe the Uber came. So anyway. Yeah, if you haven't seen the video from
Gonna probably go over to can you hear me?
Yes. Now I can.
Okay. And then we're going to go over to the Capitol and talk to some of our own representatives, because we've come from states all over the country. So I'll post some more pictures to Surly Voices, but I'm going to duck out here and head over to Supreme Court where the rally is, and then I will check back in with you guys, but I'll have a lot of footage and interviews next week.
Awesome. Oh, my gosh. Well, stay safe and good luck.
Thank you.
Stay strong, Donna.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye. Man.
Yeah,
So
the Supreme Court's hearing the birthright citizenship argument today.
right. And it's like, well, let's see how that goes, because I'm not even going to speculate, because Clarence Thomas is going to vote for anything that Trump wants. Let's be clear about that. And so I think it'll come down to Roberts being the swing vote pretty much. But we'll see how that goes. So if you want to join the conversation, give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. I want to start out talking about something that is not related directly to Trump. And that is, all right, in Florida, we've got a heartbeat bill. In other words, pretty much at 6 weeks, you're past the point where you can get an abortion in Florida, with rare exceptions. Georgia has a similar law. It's called Georgia's Living Infants Fairness and Equality Life Act, BARF. And so there's a woman, her name is Adriana Smith. She is a mom. She is a registered nurse in Atlanta. And she was approximately 9 weeks when she started getting these really bad headaches. Went to the hospital. They looked at her, sent her home. Well, it turns out she was having strokes in her brain. She was having bleeding in her brain. So then they go to another hospital, and she's declared brain dead. And so she's been hooked up to a ventilator for more than 3 months now. And it's just appalling to me that they're keeping this woman's shell alive solely for the purpose of incubating this baby until it gets to a point where it's viable and can safely, or kind of safely, lives outside the body. And so it irks me so badly, because when I was in law school 1,000 years ago in Atlanta, that's what I wrote my senior thesis on, was forced medical treatment of pregnant women. And so it's like it's like clean slate. We're starting all over from scratch. But yeah, this woman, and guess who pays for all this medical?
I would sue the state. I would sue the state.
Absolutely.
Make them pay for it.
Absolutely. Because, the family, she's got a family, mom and dad, who are taking care of her first child. And now, they're planning to take care of the second child because they don't have a choice. If they had had a choice, maybe they would have elected to just, let her go totally. And
there's no guarantee that the fetus is going to survive.
Right.
At all.
Or that it won't have been impacted by its mother's condition. I mean,
exactly.
It's like, what are we doing here? This is barbaric to me.
It's cruelty.
Yes.
It's cruelty. It's cruelty to I can't even, I mean, on so many levels. It is inhumane.
It really is. Yeah.
is a violation of bodily autonomy, human rights, and dignity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just a baby making factory here in the United States of Trump. You know, that's pretty much what we've come down to. And so it's just appalling to me that this, you know, because, all right, if she's brain dead, so she likely does not have any kind of conscious thought whatsoever. But her parents who go and visit her every day and look at her in this condition, her son who's a young child can't even go see his mom because, I mean, what do you tell the kid? You know, you can't. Yeah. Oh, it infuriates me that this family is in this position because of some law passed by some, you know, MAGA. And
people with no medical background whatsoever.
Exactly.
People making legislation and passing legislation are essentially practicing medicine without a license.
Yes, exactly. And don't know the first thing about any of these things. I mean, it's like AOC was getting into a scuffle with somebody yesterday about, you know, they were interrupting her and stuff. And she was like, I'm not going to yield to, you know, misogyny. So this is really a horrible thing. Yeah, we're going to have to see how this plays out. But can you imagine, all right, 3 months, she's got to go at least another 4 months on a ventilator. And yeah, it's horrifying. It's chilling. It's, you know, if the masses could afford to move out of the country, I'm sure we'd all be gone by now, or most of us would, and let the MAGAs have whatever they want and run it into the ground. So this is a horrible situation. It's a consequence that a lot of people don't think about when they're in support of these laws. But yeah, it's like, here's this family, if the child, and hopefully the child, is actually unimpaired. But what if it's not? What if this child needs total care for the rest of its life? You're sentencing people who didn't even participate in the act of procreation to raising a child that's going to require all their time and attention. It's really just the most horrible thing. And so I really miss the days when we had rights. Yeah.
I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, okay.
Sounds just like it.
Yeah. Well, it's that analogy has certainly been done to death. But it's like, this has happened over centuries. It didn't start with The Handmaid's Tale. I mean, it's like, you know, women who were enslaved were raped. And I mean, it's horrible. And so, yeah, we're rolling on back, and it's going to be like we never had rights at all. So let's talk to Fran in Largo. Hi, Fran.
Hi. I am just totally perplexed by the behavior of RFK Jr. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Got a frog in my throat.
Yes.
I'm so confused. Why the hell did he take his grandchildren in that dirty, filthy, polluted water, that creek or stream, whatever it is? They've said it's been polluted since the early 70s.
Yeah.
And he ducks his head under the water and everything. What is with this man? And you hear him talk at a hearing, and he just, it's like he's totally out of his element, talking to senators and everybody. But why? What was he trying to prove by taking his grandchildren into this filthy creek? If you know the answer, I'll be happy to hear it. I just can't figure it out, and I'll be watching him for getting maybe skin lesions or
another
like
brain worm.
Another brain worm. Yeah, maybe he wanted
or a brain-eating amoeba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he sounds like he's got something going on like that already from what I heard him talking the other day. but it's this man is totally nuts.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to add today. Thanks.
And yeah, swimming with the grandchildren is what you call a photo op, because he's been pushing his, agenda and not getting a whole lot of publicity. So now, you swim in nasty water with your grandkids, and it puts his money where his mouth is, in other words. What do you think, Allie?
I think that any publicity is good publicity to people.
Yeah, well, that's, the old saw. It's like, hey, I think P.T. Barnum was the one that coined that phrase, yeah. There's no such thing as bad publicity. So I think that's totally what it's about. He's...
So throw your grandkids into dirty water.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I'm not even going to say that. It's too ugly. Maria, what do you have to say about Mr. Brainworm?
I mean, honestly, when things get so off the rails, I always ask like, who hurt you?
Right.
Like, what was your trauma that this is how it presents itself? Because it doesn't make any sense. If you want to endanger yourself, that's one thing, but to and like risk the health and well-being of other people, namely children, like, and your grandchildren, that's crazy.
Right.
But anyway, it's probably a good time to do the Shirley Voices disclaimer.
Oh, okay. The opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF Tampa. Okay, go. So, yeah,
I just think it's grossly irresponsible. But you know what? Here's the thing. If he's that irresponsible with his own family,
yes.
Imagine what he's doing to our collective health and human services that he's responsible for, right?
Right.
Like, there are children that are dying on that. And here's the contrast, which I find, like, I can't make sense out of. The first thing that we talked about was this woman in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in these very unfortunate circumstances, and here we are, like, that are being forced on her. And there we are across this country. There are children dying of diseases that is preventable. What are we doing? And because I can't make sense of the through line, right? Where we have, on the one hand, children who are here, who are being prevented from living their best life and being afforded any and every opportunity to thrive, whether that is vaccinations, public education, healthcare, childcare, food, and basic and housing and shelter, and all of the just basic essentials and necessities. We are standing in the way of all of that, and then we are forcing the birth on this side. And I cannot reconcile those things in my mind, right?
It's all based on...
It's dystopian to me.
Yes. Cruel. The whole point is cruelty and getting what you want. I mean, it's modeled after Trump's personality,
And Donna's up in D.C. right now. At 5:30 this morning, the House committee took a vote to make the tax cuts permanent on the upper 1% and cut health care, Medicare, Medicaid for the poorest and neediest of Americans. Right? And we're supposed to be okay with that.
Yeah, what they do in the darkness, they always do this. They always find some kind of really early or late time to get together to do all this. I'm not going to call it governing, because it's not governing. The whole point is to weed out the quote unquote undesirables. So that's how they're doing it. You have to have, the misogyny, you have the xenophobia, you have the racism. That's what it's all about. And yet here, the Democrats are still just sitting on their hands. And I don't know what they're waiting for, but it's time for them. I can't see anybody who's up for re-election surviving the next cycle because, good Lord, they haven't done anything. How do you think that's going to play, all this inactivity on the part of the Democratic Party, Maria? How do you think that's going to play in the next elections?
It's hard to tell, right? I think that you have people who are so inculcated and entrenched in Democratic Party politics that they cannot see the goal line, the finish line, right? They're so entrenched in like process, procedure, like all this stuff that's happening with David Hogg, right? And I had a conversation the other day with a DNC member, and I said, I get it, rules are rules and things like that. And I said, but at the end of the day, I said, my goal is I want to win elections. I want people to have people in power or in positions of power to advocate on their behalf, to push for policies and to get us, to a place where everybody has an opportunity to thrive in this country. And I said, the optics of this look really bad.
Yeah.
Right. So I think on one hand, you have people who are so, entrenched in this Robert's Rules of Order and
reaching across the aisle,
procedure and process, and not focused on how do we get to the win, right? And so it's been very interesting. It's also been very, I've been watching the tension or observing the tension between generational shifts, right?
Yes.
And I'm sort of in that generation, like we are in this generation that is sandwiched in between, right? Where we have been held, the doors have been closed on us in terms of serving and advocating and bringing the next generation up. We've been prevented from doing that and roadblocked essentially from doing that because you have these guys that are still in Congress in their 70s, in their 80s, even what's the guy from Iowa, the senator, Grassley? He's 91. He's going to run for re-election.
What?
I mean, what in the world what are we doing here? You know?
It's
like,
yeah. And this is interesting because I see it since the Hogg thing kicked off. And let me be clear, I am no fan of David Hogg for numerous reasons, but I was encouraged that they had at least one person under the age of 40 in the DNC. Well, that didn't last long because, when this is what happens, and we see this over and again, when people with different ideas, people who aren't just looking to hold up the status quo, when they are put into these positions of power, the existing regime is like, you have to play by our rules, and God forbid they should challenge anything. And so what ends up happening is they either get ostracized like AOC has, or they get kicked out, which is what's happened with David Hogg. So it's, again, I'm not a fan of his, but the idea that they elected him and then unelected him.
But it's not just him, though, right? Like,
Right.
You have David Hogg, who's really trying to advocate for this thing. And this is the thing, right? Like, when you talk to folks, they get really defensive about it. It's not about him, primary challenge. It's not about that. It's about this woman filed a grievance. I get all of that. But this little boy, right? And I'm just going to use the pejorative. This little boy he's not even 30 years old yet.
Right.
He is running circles around your Democratic National Committee public relations machine. He has grabbed the narrative and ran to the goals with it,
Yep.
right? He is
Touchdown.
running circles
Yeah.
around you in terms of holding the narrative. What are you doing? You guys did all of this. You like literally were not prepared from a public relations standpoint to get out in front of it.
Right.
Right. And if this is what you're doing with this young man, this one young man, how are you going to defend democracy?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because this is just one in a series of things, right? You also have the guy that they put up, Jerry Connolly, had to step down because of throat cancer, right? His throat cancer had a recurrence. And the next in line for the Ways and Means Committee on the Democratic Party side is Jasmine Crockett. Rather than Jasmine Crockett running for this and winning, because again, that generational shift, they put Congressman Mfume up against her, another guy who's 76 years old. What are we doing?
Right.
Right? At some point, you are just going to have to let young people lead and manage the next generation, the generational shift of bringing people into this party. There is a reason why these young people keep telling us that young people are leaving the party, number one, and young people are like, are shifting toward either MPA or Republicans. How is it that Republicans are doing a better job of communicating to young people and meeting their needs than Democrats are?
Thank you. Yes, because that is a question that it's like you would think after you've had so many huge losses, you would reassess and change your strategy. But nope, there's one strategy. There's no room for any independent or new thought. We're just going to keep rolling on until the country is in ruins and smoking, and then maybe we'll see about making a change. And then there are several folks on Facebook who are just like celebrating that Hogg got pulled off the DNC because he was so ageist. Well, yeah. Full disclosure, I am old, okay? Very old. And if I'm saying, why are all these people so old? Then maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's
And I'm not buying the ageist argument, right? And the reason why, I don't think that he's ageist. I think he's frustrated.
Yeah.
And I think there's a bunch of us old folks that are equally frustrated, right? We're not quite to the Social Security age, but because of the old people that are so intransient that are there, they're not thinking about us and the repercussions that it has on the next generation
Right.
that is shifting into Medicare and Medicaid. If you're going to sit there and watch God's water run over God's land and allow these Republicans to run roughshod over us, give permanent tax cuts to the upper 1%, and nobody else has anything left, right?
right.
We should all be up there with Donna, storming the Capitol, right?
Exactly. So yeah, it's here's a good question from Liz. It says, question about RFK. My question is, where are those kids' parents? Did they know he was taking them into some contaminated water? That's a good question, and I hadn't actually thought about that, but that is a great question. And then too, okay, let's put our conspiracy theory hats on real quick. Suppose it's not actually where he was. In other words, okay, you know how they say the moon landing was not real, it was filmed in a Hollywood studio. How we know that this wasn't filmed in a Hollywood studio?
That's true.
So, but yeah, it's, and I know his brothers and sisters do not like what he's done up to this point. So I can't imagine the kids are far off from their aunts and uncles, but maybe they are. So let's switch over to, you're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Give us a call at 239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. So,
Now, can I say something about the hog thing?
yes.
Okay, so the problem with that is David, a couple of things I would suggest. One is playing the long game. He didn't play the long game.
No.
He should have taken over, right?
Mhm.
But you have to go in, you have to pay attention. I understand that this moment is an urgent moment. I get that. But it's disingenuous for Ken Martin to say you can't be the referee and the player because Wasserman Schultz put her finger on the scale. Donna Brazile put her finger on the scale,
Yep.
right? So this thing has been
as usual.
right. So, but when it comes from below and from a place that they don't want to be, then they go into the rules. I saw that was done here in Tampa. When we don't like what you're doing, when we don't agree with you, when we don't like your viewpoint, we go into the bylaws, into the Byzantine bylaws, and we find a way to rid ourselves of you. But okay, sometimes you need to keep your enemies, your frenemies close.
Yes.
And I think that the thing that they've done is they've exposed themselves while simultaneously alienating someone who could eventually become more powerful than them.
Right. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe they were like, no, we're really comfortable in our little seats that we've had for 1,000 years.
And in the meantime, who's paying the consequences?
Yeah, exactly.
The same people that are going to pay the consequences for the chicanery that JFK and Pamela Bondi and people of their ilk are committing on the American public right now.
Yeah,
Now, I do
exactly.
believe 45,000 people have decided to run for something in this country. That's an unprecedented number. As I've been told, the American public, I'm walking toward the Supreme Court, guys, so I'm a little out of breath, but with my suitcases.
Oh, wow.
However, yeah, I'm doing a lot of things. But the, what was I saying here?
45,000 people have
Right.
unprecedented number have
Hey.
already.
And we're about to have a sea change with Republicans. Josh Hawley is calling out MAGA for Medicaid. So these red states are where there are a lot of poor white people in red states.
Yeah.
Okay. They're already sorry because they didn't think he met them. He thought he met the others that they love to other so they can feel better about their situations.
Right.
This is a human tendency. I am not being racial. When the red state folks looked up and said, oh my goodness, you know what? We have a lot of people on Medicaid. And now they're thinking it through. There's an article in Politico saying that people the MAGA didn't even know what was in the bill. They didn't even know what was in the bill.
God.
And so yesterday, when people were being dragged out of these hearings, the Medicaid hearing a couple of days ago, the Republicans, I'm sorry, someone lied to you about what was in this bill. Okay. And let me tell you something. I did a whole thing last night and then I fell asleep with the phone in my hand. So I was doing the ad for the show. I went to sleep. The cuts, I want to run y'all really quickly before I check into this rally. I want to run you really quickly through how those cuts, I know Sean likes for us to talk about how this stuff is relevant locally. So I did this whole big thing on figuring out what it's going to cost us locally. Yeah, that's good, right? So what happens locally if this thing takes root in Tampa?
Well, I'm
You guys
afraid,
wanna-
yeah, the nursing homes, I mean, that's the primary payer for most folks in the nursing home is Medicaid. And so if they're cutting Medicaid, where are the people going to go? Because they're not going to be able to afford to stay there. That's one thing.
Well, it's going to have an impact on the estuary, right? So we have our waterways, our wetlands, we have quite a number of schools in Tampa, Hillsborough County and Tampa proper that over 60% of the students receive a free lunch. There's going to be impact with these budget cuts. I'm talking about the budget cuts broadly. Okay. There's going to be impact there. Seniors are going to lose their pants. We have Florida is known for its advanced population. A lot of cities, a lot of our major cities have median ages above the age of 45. So seniors are going to take a hit. And that's really unfair. If you work, you build this country, you're a brick in the wall.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd, right? Pink
Yeah.
Floyd, brick in the wall. And then you grow up and you want to grow old and you want to enjoy your remaining time. And here comes the people whose salaries you pay telling you that you can't have basic health care.
Right.
All of those things. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I read a statistic a few years ago that said out of all the cities in the country, that Tampa, Florida, took the longest to recover from the recession. Okay. So this is, and I don't know, let me tell you what it has to do with. I think it's directly related, and I'm not an economist, but I think it's directly related to the fact that the demographic and the income it used to, at the time of that, reflected the United States, almost a mirror image of it.
Wow.
Right? So the demographic of Tampa looked very much like the greater United States. The percentage of ethnicities, the median incomes, all of those things looked like a little mini United States. And so it's really a test market for that reason, for a lot of products. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
I did not know that.
So I don't think this country recovered as fast as they told us it did. And so it looked like Tampa was slow recovering. But I think that that's because they were fluffing the numbers. That we've never seen that before.
Right. Well, remember they put the person in charge of the COVID numbers in jail. So it's like,
Oh, right. Like they're putting judges in jail now.
Right.
And yesterday in the Capitol, there is a new crop of civil police up here. And you guys got to hear this before I get off, okay? So I'm walking down the hall and I get on the elevator and I'm the only one that can fit on there. I said, okay, I'll see you guys on the 4th floor. This is where the hearing is taking place. This is where Bernie and RFK and everybody is. So we go down there and I go to get in the line and I say, are you closed? And the girl said, no. She said, yes. And when she said that, I heard screaming in the chamber. The doors burst. All these cops rushed into the chamber. The doors burst open and they're pulling this woman out. And she's screaming. It was very violent. All of the media, they moved like they were one body toward the incident. And I got trapped between the media and the police.
oh,
I wasn't even in the hearing. And I was like, why is my life like this? Why am I always in the sauce up to my neck?
I hope one of those photographers got a picture of you doing something crazy, because I love to see Donna photos from the wild. Yeah.
Oh my God, always. And so they were like, everybody moved back. And so then they said, all the media against the wall. Now I'm in the media group, okay? And I'm filming like everybody else is filming, okay?
Nice.
And yeah, so they think I'm the media. And the only way they found out I wasn't media was because I say that as I DJ a radio show. I'm not in the media. I asked him, can we not be over here? He said, are you media? And I was like, that's what I did. I had a pass when I went to Obama. Guys, when I was volunteering in the big tent, one of the guys in the bloggers tent, first year they ever had it in Denver, gave me his pass, and I ran all the way to the convention center.
Oh.
And I was in the media pit with like Al Sharpton and Wolf Blitzer. So yeah, it always happens. But anyway, we were going over to the overflow because they wouldn't let us in there, right? They just blocked the whole hallway off. We get over to the overflow, and then the cops come running past us with this big, giant 2-gallon bag of those plastic handcuffs.
Oh.
Yeah. So they were wheeling people out of there in their wheelchairs screaming, you're trying to kill me. I'm HIV positive. And it made me feel good. I know we're going to lose 99% of these battles, but Medicaid is starting to look a lot better, that they might not be able to get there with Medicaid.
Right.
Medicaid is a sacred cow, and so is Medicare and Social Security. Those are third rails for MAGA. So I'm going to be calling my friends, Nadia, if you're listening, in red states and saying, hey, this might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, because these guys are about to lose their pants. Once they, I was going to say one of the 7 words, once they take off folks who, once they touch the third rail, we could actually end up flipping this thing around and having some domination for an extended period of time. The only problem with that is Democrats know how to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory, as it's
Yes.
oft said.
Yes.
And so even if we are able to stop MAGA at the midterms, we're still going to have a problem with the internal workings and machinations of the party. And that's
Right.
all I got for today.
Okay. Well, let's get to the queue because it is backed up. So let's talk
I'm sure it is.
to-
I'm going to be listening, though.
Okay. Let's talk to Scott in Safety Harbor. Hi, Scott.
Good morning.
Thank you for holding.
Yeah, it's been a bit. Excuse me. Listen, I just, does anybody else feel like the Republicans and I hate to say the D word, but our president is just like saying, go ahead, stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he just keeps doing stuff that we know is wrong. And he's like, well, they aren't going to do anything about it.
Exactly.
I mean, I just feel like that.
Yeah. I mean, he just accepted a jet from Qatar, and
Yeah, I
it's
did
like
that.
$400 million, and it's not for the country, it's for Donald Trump, because once he leaves office, it would move from the presidency to the Trump Foundation or whatever.
Right. Plus, it's going to cost taxpayers, not him, taxpayers, another $1 billion to get it to the point where it's usable for like president or like Air One.
All right.
I mean,
So
why
yeah,
are we gonna
Trump
do
is
that?
Trump is going around and doing what he wants, and nobody is standing in his way. So he's in it for the money grab now. He's going to grab as much stuff as he possibly can. So
I mean, it's so obvious.
yeah. Hate to let you go, Scott, but I got to clean up this queue. But thank you for calling.
Let me vent.
All right. Bye bye. All right. Let's talk to Gary in Largo. Hi, Gary.
Hey, thank you as always for one of few truly progressive and fiercely honest, shows anywhere on any media. And I noticed that you're forced to have that disclaimer. I guess the station is worried about its nonprofit status, but as we notice, the Republican nonprofits like the MAGA churches, they're not worried about political opinions.
Right. We've actually done this early disclaimer since we started because
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do it, but it's kind of sad. Now, real quickly, because you have other people, I'm always referencing movies, and I hope everyone has watched the brilliant movie that came out 2 years ago called Civil War. What I love, and I love DEI, what I love is that the director deliberately had a, quote, DEI team as the final solution for the fascist president. It's a deliciously wonderful movie. At least the ending is. The other movie for women, because you are right, as I heard you saying about 30 minutes ago, women are viewed increasingly as cattle, as broodmares, as fetus chambers, and that's about it. And so the movie, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo,
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
we need more women to just say, you know what? If you try and rape me or touch me or rohypnol me or whatever, you're not going to get out of it with just me thinking the police are going to take care of it. Because as we know, the courts and police hardly ever punish pedophiles, rapists, male domestic abusers. They hardly ever punish them. It's like a suspended sentence because you guys are viewed, as it was in the original Constitution, along with Native Americans, as 3/5 human. And the last thing I will say is, did you notice the hit piece book from Jake Tapout that is all clutching his pearls that the Bidens lied about Joe's senility ratio? Well, Jake, they
I have eyes. I could see that.
They
Yeah.
about that, and I don't appreciate that. I think Kamala may have won if she had started a year earlier. But he doesn't have a book out about Donald Trump lying about everything and working for Vladimir Putin. Why not, Jakey?
All right. Thanks for calling, Gary. All right. Let's talk to Dave in Tampa. Hi, Dave.
Hey, good morning. Listen, I think the only way the resistance wins in 26, the objective, first of all, needs to be to take a big enough majority of Congress to impeach and remove the president. The only way you do that is with socioeconomic class warfare on class level. The have-nots versus the haves. This week, the message is the haves and Trump and the Republican Party that you voted for promised you tax-free overtime, promised you tax-free tips, promised you tax-free Social Security. None of that's in the budget. You got screwed while number one is taking $400 million airplane from people who fund jihad around the world. That ought to be the message. That ought to be pounding it into people's head. Class consciousness, go to war. Take them out, remove this bastard, and let's get on with America as it used to be when it was great, when we had democracy.
Well, thanks for calling, Dave.
Yep, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. And then Peter in Tarpon Springs. Hi, Peter.
Good morning, girls. And I would like to comment. My wife and I were talking about this last night. It's ironic that we've come to the point where the Capitol Police will burst in and hand tie people in wheelchairs and people who have illnesses, but they didn't do crap on January 6th of arresting anybody at that insurrection on that date. So we just need to look at what's happening to us and try to make people more aware, as people have said, of what we're losing in the meantime by keeping a blind eye and having these reps like Luna and Bill Arrakis and all these people who say they're for the people but are just taking the money on the side so they can keep their campaigns and keep in power. So thank you for putting out the voice, and we just need to fight stronger with our voices. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. All right. I'd like to touch on some of the things that some of the folks said, but let me read these emails real quick. I'll tell you that Dems going to Republican Party happens. The Republicans are selfish and greedy, and so are most people. The Republicans are promoting the individual, and the I gotta get mine is unfortunately permeating society. Jerome. Thanks, Jerome. Another one says, is there a site we can see Donna's posts? And in Oldsmar. We'll put them on the Surly Voices Facebook page, and we can give you a taste of what Donna's been up to the past 24 hours. But
Liz, tell them to go and follow me. Donna L. Davis. I am wearing a Western dress and I'm standing next to a horse.
Yeah.
Donna L. Davis. Okay. and follow me, and then you can see everything in real time.
And that's on Insta, right?
No, that's on Facebook. And then if you're on my Facebook page, you can go to my Instagram.
Oh, very
nice.
But
the posts mirror each other. Okay, guys.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, follow Donna and you will see all the activities. But one thing that strikes me, the caller who was talking about the Capitol Police didn't do anything on January 6th. In the video that Donna posted last night, I saw more Capitol Police or whatever kind of police they were storm into the room and drag these folks out. There were lots more in that little group than I saw in the whole time January 6th. So I think that they've gotten, the memos out that, we need to have a ton of people here, not just a handful. Maria, do you know anything about that? Whether they've beefed up security or it's probably, here, this is my guess. They have contracted with some Republicans' security company to get these goons in there to go and pull folks out. That's my.
I just think that there is an extremely aggressive suppression of speech.
Yeah.
In the last 100 days or so.
Absolutely.
I think that there is a very, very aggressive push towards suppression of speech. But I think that, historically, when you look at the Capitol and who quote unquote is storming the Capitol, you could see a different response depending on who are the people that are showing up.
Yes.
So I think that we also have to bear that in mind when we start looking at it. And it's interesting to me that the people who have a right to protest protest a particular oppression, whether it is people with disabilities or vulnerable people in any way. All of a sudden, we have police action that is very, very heavy-handed, right? And when it is insurrectionists, I don't know why people are shocked that there is absolutely no response to that. There should have been more. There should have been more presence for people like that, and there wasn't.
Right.
But I mean, we could have a whole show about that.
Yes. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, they saw a bunch of white people hollering outside, and they were like, "Oh, they're exercising their rights to free speech." Well, then when they busted in, they weren't prepared for that. So, and then anybody else, it's enraging pretty much. But the Trump airplane thing, it's like, okay, wait, this is just like, what are we doing? I mean, they had all right. Number one, they're yanking people out of Senate hearings or congressional hearings where people are making points. And there is no free speech right now. You have judges getting thrown in jail. You have lawyers getting thrown in jail.
Look at your college campuses.
Right.
Okay.
College campuses.
There was a valedictorian for NYU yesterday, one of the colleges at NYU yesterday. They're withholding his degree because his speech, in his speech, he acknowledged a genocide in Gaza, right? And regardless of how you feel about it, what your position is on what's happening there, everybody has a right to free speech. That is not something that you can withhold a person's degree from. He met the requirements to receive that degree, and now you want to withhold it from him because you did not like what he said.
Yeah, exactly. So free speech is really not free anymore, for sure. All right, let's see. We have a text message that says, Surly's, please go on Substack. Some of us are leaving the MAGA metaverse. That's young people words, Allie. What does it mean?
I don't know.
So Substack is a platform where we can blog and host a podcast.
Oh.
And instead of, I think that the person, when he talks about leaving the metaverse, that means deplatforming from Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp type things. But Substack has been a place where a lot of journalists from mainstream media have migrated over to. A lot of the people who, a lot of Pulitzer Prize winning journalists from the Washington Post and the New York Times, who, especially in this latest attempt at suppression of speech controlled by capitalists, have migrated over to Substack. They write their own articles over there, and people do direct subscriptions to the particular journalists that they're interested in reading.
Oh, I have a weekend project now. I'm going to go make Substacks. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Frank just gave me the finger, so it's time to wrap up. Maria, any closing thoughts?
No, I think I did. I think I just closed mine in that explanation. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And we will definitely look into Substack and setting up camp there. That would be awesome. I can't hear you. I can't even see your face.
If anyone is interested, I have a GoFundMe.